You see a smile on a brown box, but I see a global stranglehold, written in the blood of every retail giant that dared to stand in its way. In 1994, it was just the smell of old books in a drafty garage in Bellevue. Today, it's a 12-digit empire that knows what you want before you even do. They didn't just build a store, they built a digital cage, and they've spent 30 years locking the doors from the inside.
From the Gazelle Project that hunted publishers to the AWS servers that own the internet's backbone, nothing is out of reach. I am the Market Eagle, and today we expose how a garage-born dream became the world's most dangerous monopoly.
Hidden from the world, visible to the eagle.
Step back to 1994, a drafty garage in Bellevue, Washington. Most people saw a skinny man with a loud laugh packing books into used crates. But Jeff Bezos wasn't looking at books, he was looking at the infrastructure of human desire. He knew that if he could master the delivery of a single book, he could eventually master the delivery of your entire life. He didn't choose books because he was a scholar. No, he chose them because they were the perfect commodity, non-perishable, easy to ship, and backed by a universal database. It was the ultimate Trojan horse. He used your love for literature to get his foot in your front door, and while you were reading, he was mapping out a way to replace every storefront on Main Street. By 1997, Amazon hit the stock market. The elites on Wall Street laughed until they turned red. They called it Amazon.toast. They were looking at quarterly losses and thin margins, but Bezos was looking at the next century. He told his investors early on, it's all about the long term. That's corporate speak for, I'm going to bleed money until every competitor is dead. Then came the Gazelle Project. This wasn't just a business strategy, it was a predatory doctrine. Internal memos revealed a chilling command. Amazon should approach small publishers the way a cheetah approaches a sickly gazelle. If you were a small press, you weren't a partner, you were prey. If you didn't bow down and give them the massive discounts they demanded, they didn't just walk away, they exterminated your presence. They'd vanish your buy button, mess with your shipping times, and let you bleed out in the shadows until you crawled back and surrendered your margins to the machine. The Market Eagle sees the scars, and they run deep. This was the birth of the flywheel. It's a simple, terrifying loop. Lower prices lead to more customers, which attract more sellers, which lead to more data. And in the 21st century, data is the new oil. Every click, every hover, every save for later was a piece of intelligence being weaponized against the very people who used the site. But by the mid-2000s, the garage blueprint was getting too small for his ambition. To truly scale the heist, Bezos realized he needed to control the very air the internet breathes. He didn't just want to sell products on the web, he wanted to own the web itself. Enter AWS, Amazon Web Services. In 2006, they started renting out their massive server space to the highest bidder. Today, if AWS has a hiccup, the modern world stops. Netflix goes dark, Reddit disappears. Even the CIA's most sensitive data runs through Amazon's backbone. They don't just sell the products on the shelf, they own the shelf, the floor, and the building it stands in. Think about the sheer leverage here. Every time a competitor makes a sale on their own website, they are likely paying Amazon for the cloud hosting behind it. You're not just competing with a retail giant, you're literally funding your own execution. It is the most brilliant, ruthless circular economy ever designed by a human mind. The blueprint was complete. The humble garage was a memory, replaced by a global grid of concrete, steel, and secret code. But the most dangerous part of the heist wasn't the robots or the servers. It was what they were doing to the human element. The transition from citizen to consumer was nearly finished. The trap was about to snap shut. By 2005, the heist entered its most dangerous phase. Bezos knew that to own the customer, he had to own their time. He launched Amazon Prime, a 48-hour promise that felt like magic, but was actually a psychological noose. Think about it. Once you pay that annual fee, you feel obligated to use it. You stop price checking, you stop looking at the shop down the street. You've been preconditioned to believe that if it isn't Prime, it isn't worth it. They didn't just buy your loyalty, they bought your habits. But to fulfill the Prime promise, they had to build the most aggressive logistics network in human history. We're talking about the grid, a sprawling web of fulfillment centers that breathe in millions of products and spit them out with robotic violence. Inside these walls, time isn't measured in minutes, it's measured in seconds. Kiva robots swarm the floor like a hive of mechanical ants, moving thousands of pounds of inventory, while the human workers struggle to keep up with the algorithm.
The market eagle sees the math they don't want you to see. Every rate a worker has to hit is calculated by a machine that doesn't sleep, doesn't eat, and doesn't care about human limits. It's a frictionless machine, running on the friction of human bone and muscle.
Then came the last mile. Amazon realized they couldn't trust FedEx or UPS to move fast enough for their world-conquering pace. So they built their own fleet. Thousands of blue vans, hundreds of planes, a private army of delivery drivers that turned every residential street into an Amazon conveyor belt. But look closer at the partnership program. They don't technically employ the drivers. They outsource the risk to small delivery service partners. It's the ultimate corporate shell game. Amazon keeps the control, but the small business owners keep the liability.
And while the vans were taking over the roads, Alexa was taking over the living room. A billion-dollar listening post disguised as a helpful assistant. Alexa, buy more laundry detergent. But what you're really saying is, Amazon, please take more of my data.
They are listening to the rhythm of your home. They know when you're awake, when you're hungry, and when you're vulnerable to a targeted ad. It's not a convenience, it's a surveillance state wrapped in a plastic speaker.
By 2020, the trap was fully set. When the world shut down, Amazon became the only lifeline. While every other business was fighting to survive, the Eagle watched as Amazon's stock price rocketed into the stratosphere. They didn't just survive the crisis, they owned it.
You think you're a partner on the Amazon platform? Think again. To the Eagle, you look like a lab rat in a glass cage. They aren't just hosting your business, they are studying it. Every sale you make is a data point they use to map your success, and eventually, your downfall.
It's called marketplace intelligence, but I call it industrial espionage. If you find a niche product that starts to move, Amazon's algorithms flag it instantly. They see your margins, they see your suppliers, and they see exactly how much blood is left in your stone.
Then comes the clone war. Suddenly, a new product appears at the top of the search results. It looks just like yours, it works just like yours, but it's branded Amazon Basics, and it's 30% cheaper.
How can they do it? Simple. They don't have to pay the Amazon tax that you do. They own the shelf, they own the advertising, and they've manipulated the search rankings to ensure your original invention is buried on page 10, where businesses go to die.
It is a monopoly of information. They aren't just a store, they are the regulator of the store. Imagine a referee in the championship game, who also happens to be the quarterback for the opposing team. That is the Amazon reality.
But the heist doesn't stop at retail. They want the backbone of your entire digital existence. We return to the monolith, AWS. It's the silent engine that generates the cash to fund the retail war. Amazon Retail can lose billions because AWS makes trillions.
By 2022, AWS wasn't just hosting websites, it was hosting governments. When you control the servers, you control the truth. They've built a digital moat so wide and so deep that even the most powerful regulators in Washington are afraid to cross it.
And then there's the advertising engine. Amazon is now the third largest ad platform on the planet. You have to pay them just for the right to be seen on the site you already pay to be on. It's a protection racket disguised as sponsored results.
The Eagle sees the search manipulation for what it is. The first 5 results are almost always paid ads or Amazon brands. The bestseller badge isn't a reward for quality. It's a reward for compliance. If you don't pay the toll, you don't get the traffic.
Look at the acquisition of One Medical and iRobot. They aren't just buying companies, they are buying your biometrics and the floor plan of your house. They want to know your pulse, your prescriptions, and the exact dimensions of your bedroom.
Why? Because the everything store is becoming the everywhere store. They want to be the invisible layer between you and reality, from the moment you wake up to the Alexa alarm to the moment you order dinner via Prime.
The data they harvest isn't just used to sell you socks, it's used to predict market shifts. They know when a recession is coming before the Federal Reserve does because they see the real-time spending habits of 200 million people.
They have achieved total information awareness. In the 1900s, Standard Oil controlled the pipes. In the 2000s, Amazon controls the data. And as the Eagle knows, data is the ultimate weapon of the modern age.
Competitors like Walmart and Target are scrambling, trying to build their own flywheels, but they are decades behind. You can't build a 30-year head start of machine learning overnight.
The gap isn't just wide, it's permanent.
As we reach the peak of this empire, we have to ask, is there any force left on Earth that can check this power? Or have we already handed the keys of our civilization to a man who would rather build a clock in a mountain than save the street you live on?
The evidence is undeniable. We aren't just looking at a company, we are looking at a new state, a borderless empire where the laws of supply and demand have been rewritten by a single algorithm. But even the largest empires face their reckoning. In the halls of Washington and Brussels, the whispers are getting louder. Antitrust regulators are finally waking up from a 20-year slumber. They're looking at the kill zone, the graveyard of startups that Amazon absorbed or erased before they could ever grow up.
The question they're asking is simple, but the answer is terrifying. Can you actually break a ghost? If you split the retail arm from the AWS spine, does the beast die? Or does it just become two smaller, more aggressive predators?
Bezos has stepped back from the CEO chair, but his shadow still covers every square inch of the company. He's looking at the stars now, Blue Origin. He knows that the Earth is a finite market. To keep the flywheel spinning, he needs the galaxy.
While we debate the breakup of his company, Amazon is building the infrastructure for the next 100 years. Satellite swarms, Kuiper, a private internet in the sky. They don't want to just own the pipes under your street. They want to own the light in the sky.
This is the grounded future the Eagle sees, a world where you don't choose to buy from Amazon. You simply exist within it. It's the air you breathe, the code you run, and the health insurance that keeps you alive.
Is there a way back to a human-scale economy? Perhaps, but it would require a level of collective will we haven't seen in generations. It would mean choosing the messy, the local, and the inefficient over the seductive, cold perfection of the SMI.
The Market Eagle has shown you the heist. We followed the money, the data, and the broken cardboard boxes. The secret isn't that they stole our money, it's that they stole our imagination of what a world without them looks like.
We are at the crossroads. One path leads to a planet-sized fulfillment center. The other leads back to the garage. But this time, we have to decide who gets to keep the keys.
I am the Market Eagle. The investigation is closed, but the heist is just getting started. Watch the skies and watch your back. All caps. End of line.
Subscribe and join the flight. Market Eagle.